Hello, my name is Anita Jaisinghani, and this is my MAARHCAC Women's Month interview. I was born and raised in India, in actually Western India. It's a state called Gujarat. It's the only vegetarian eating state, I think, in the entire world, but almost everybody there that is native to Gujarat is vegetarian. But I'm not a Gujarati, I'm not from there. My parents are from a province that actually is now in Pakistan. It's called Sindh, so I'm a Sindhi. But what happened is when India and Pakistan had to split up in 1947, the entire province of Sindh was left in Pakistan. And Pakistan was going to become a Muslim country, India a Hindu, so my parents left Pakistan or left Sindh and moved out to India. So I grew up in Gujarat, the state that my parents just adopted. Yeah, I mean, my mother got really sick when I was 13, and I kind of jumped in the kitchen to help. We had a helper in the kitchen, but my mother would do the main cooking. So my dad tried and it was terrible. So I'm like, let me try, So I did, and it was actually a lot of fun. And I was trying to make, at that time, like foods inspired by hotel food, because I'd only eaten at like fancy hotels every once in a while, and I loved that food. So it was really rich and heavy and lots of cream and butter and nuts, and my dad's like, our grocery bill is way too high with you cooking. So I think I did that for a while, and my grades were slipping, so I went back to less cooking, but that kind of hooked me on to cooking. And after that, I became an avid cook, and I came to Canada at first. I got married and I came to Canada, and at the time, I had no intention of getting in the food business. Because I had studied microbiology, I was working on my master's to become a microbiologist, but I just noticed the abysmal nature of Indian food in Canada. So I kind of, watched and looked, and I came to the US in the 90s, and then I was like, okay, I want to do more. So I went to work for a restaurant. It's here in town called Cafe Annie. And then after that, I opened my first restaurant called Indika in 2001. And that I sold, or I got out of that in 2015. And then 2011, I opened Pondicheri, where we are right now. Nice. So, I mean, I loved Indian food so much because I feel like people thought of Indian food as a buffet line food. And I wanted to show them that people in Indian homes eat amazing food. So I wanted to just showcase that. And I learned so much from being in the US and traveling to Europe. So a combination of all that is what ended up on my table. In India, I mostly lived in Gujarat, but my parents were from a different part. So they would cook food at home that wasn't a local cuisine. And I would go to friends' houses and I would say, what is this? So I was always very interested in food. I found food to be like, the best part about food is that you can cook, and then if it's not good, you can just cook again a few hours later or the next day. So it's like an art that you can just consume. So there's a lot of joy in, and I still love to cook. Like all these years later, I still get excited about cooking. Well, these days, my inspiration is all about eating plant-based food. I think the environment is a huge concern, as is our health. And I'm really, really trying to come up. It's so easy to take a piece of steak and throw it onto a grill and put some spices on. I could make a lot of money just selling steak, or big pieces of fish brought in from all over the world. But I mean, to me, that's the kind of the cheap and easy way to be a chef. To me, what's more exciting is that, okay, take a little carrot from a farm down the road and make that carrot taste really amazing. Wow. So that's what I'm working on, is how do I make vegetarian food that is from around here taste really good, using Indian ideas and techniques. Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of Indians are not all vegetarians. I would say a third of them are, if you do the statistics. But what Indians do, and I think Chinese people do this too, other parts of Asia, where you put a little bit of meat in your food, you don't have a giant portion of meat. That is unheard of in India. At least it used to be till recently, where people just will, you use a little bit of meat and you kind of use that to flavor your meals. And I'm trying to head towards that way of cooking. In 2012, when I opened Pondicheri, I wanted to, I don't know, I always thought, we should be eating less meat. That's been a lifetime thing. So I wanted to start Meatless Monday. I'm one of those people that likes to just jump in and kind of figure out how to swim later. And I've had some disasters in that direction. But I did decide, maybe a month before, saying, okay, starting next year, and this was 2012, I think we started in 2012, January, I'm going to go Meatless Monday. And that happened to be the 1st of January. It was a Monday. And we just made an announcement. I did a menu, but I had eggs and dairy in that menu. So we started 2012, a Meatless Monday, and people walked in. They were so upset because it was a holiday. We were packed, and people are like, "Where is my chicken Frankie?" And it was like, and my son actually had just come back from college. He was working the counter, and he's like, "Don't bother. I asked, she's my mom. She won't give it to me either. Just get the egg Frankie. Just get this." And he'd figure out what to tell them to eat. And that's how it started. And we did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then I took my whole menu and made it with less meat, where I was just trying to slowly, methodically take meat out of my menu and replace it with things that to me were as tasty. And our business grew, so it's not like a business was going down, it was going up. So I figured that people are responding to this, So then we took the Meatless Monday off and we went open a restaurant in New York, and there was a lot of other challenges I came up with. So we stopped the Meatless Monday, and then I just started it again about a month ago, or 2 months ago, where I said, okay, let's now do a Meatless Monday that is all plant-based. So we do a little bit of ghee, but it's like 99% plant-based. So it's just, no dairy, no meat, no eggs. And I'm really amazed by how I feel like if you really block out that need to eat dairy and meat, and I remember watching a lady that walked in here about a month ago, and I have this server that's very persuasive, and she's like, "What happened to this menu? I don't remember seeing this." She just came and sat down. She didn't look at the signs that said Meatless Monday, and my server said, "Well, I'm going to ask you to eat something today, and if you don't like it, it's on the house, or I will pay for it." And she ate this thing called the green dosa. It's this crepe with the greens inside. And she looked up at him at the end, and I was just sitting at a table working, and she said, "That was the best thing I've ever had. I didn't even miss meat." So it was just so rewarding. But I think people have such a mental block about eating a meal without meat, they won't even try. 3% of people, but now it's 10% people are vegan. And people that are not vegan want to eat more vegan. So it's not like they want to go vegan entirely like me. I want to eat vegan preferably most of the time, and I'll dip into meat every once in a while. So make meat a special occasion or a once in a while thing, and then it's not so bad. And I mean, our planet is dying, and the meat's carbon footprint is like off the charts. I mean, I get that. I think that there's nothing wrong with, and I think the minute we become too hard and make too many boundaries, you want it more. So I refuse to say I'm vegan or I'm vegetarian. I really eat everything. And if you invite me to dinner and cook me a piece of meat, I'll probably eat it. And it's so much more exciting. Like a friend of mine that was the most steak-free guy I'd ever known said to me that he has turned mostly vegan. And he said, he finds eating so much more exciting because there's so much discovery in plants. There's so many variation in plants. There is so much more to enjoy with plants than there is. Because meat has this wonderful one-note, excitement. I have a great team. So I have a pastry chef that her name is Alexa, that's been with me for a very long time from my Indika days, and she is amazing at coming up with, I get some ideas and she'll take those ideas and just make them even better. So we have a really good team in our restaurant that thinks about how to make, not just, you don't want vegan food to taste like cardboard or boring.
Right.
You want it to taste as good as regular food.
Right.
So that's where we are always pushing our boundaries and how do we make this taste really good. I was a mom with little kids when I opened my first restaurant. I never got into the social circuit of wanting to be with other chefs or wanting to compare myself to them. I just did what felt right to me. And when the restaurant was closed, I went straight home because I had kids at home. So I didn't have the luxury of going out drinking at night and getting to meet other chefs. So I never have been into that culture. And I feel like not being in that didn't give me that, but I felt I was inadequate if I wasn't doing what they were doing.
Exactly.
So, and I'm not like a trained chef. So I never felt the need to do what others did. I always felt like doing something different was okay if it was the right thing to do. I feel like working hard is something that has become a forgotten thing. Like in my generation, we worked hard and we weren't afraid of long hours. And I think balance is important, but also what's important is knowing you're not going to learn you have to do things over and over again to get good at them. And it's not about just saying, okay, I got this now, put my name on this, or it's also, keep your ego down and keep your head up and learn and be persistent, because if I was the kind of person that was going to give up at the first criticism I got, I'd be out of business by now. And people don't like people that do things differently. They want to see the same thing, and I'd never wanted to do that, and that's just my own nature. And plus I had a lot of people in this town that really believed in me. So I have a very supportive family. My husband built the first restaurant for me and I took it places, and then I had friends that helped me with other things. So I'm very lucky to have a lot of support. To creating foods that to me are more exciting, and I feel like with food it takes me time to come up with ideas that I truly adore. And I travel to India a lot, so I really want to do more traveling into regional parts of India, because I left India when I was 20, so I didn't really get to travel around in India as much. And now with the pandemic, I haven't been traveling much in the last couple of years, so I want to travel to like the more remote parts of India and learn, because the thing about India is that it is such a varied cuisine. Like if you go to one part, you will eat something that's going to resemble like food from Japan, or you go to another part, you're going to say, wait, this sounds like this food is from China. And all of us are so connected in that way, because before the boundaries were drawn, we were all just assimilating ideas from each other. So I just want to learn more about food. And what I'm also doing is starting a small product line. So I'm going to do like housewares, like table linens and stuff. So working on those to launch sometime by the end of this year or early next year. My name is Anita Jaisinghani. This was my MAARHCAC interview. Thank you all for allowing me to be on here.